Welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Damian Lewis. In the news this week, Nick Clegg's task of selling the coalition to the Lib Dems is about to get even tougher as David Cameron unveils the new Home Secretary. At the European Swimming Championships, the lineup for the men's freestyle relay final is completed by the team from the Vatican City. And the head of ITV News angrily denies accusations of dumbing down during their report on the Somali pirate story.
That's a spokesman saying nothing.
On Ian Hislop's team is a comedy writer and presenter who is also president of the Woodland Trust, as the problem of deforestation is close to his heart and even closer to his head. Please welcome Clive Anderson. And with Paul Merton tonight is a Scottish comedian who first performed stand-up in a Glasgow pub aged 15, which is odd, because most 15-year-olds in Glasgow don't go to pubs, unless they can get a babysitter. Please welcome Kevin Bridges. And we start with the bigger stories of the week. Paul and Kevin, take a look at this.
Oh, right, yes, of course. There is the happy man. Oh, there he is, look. That's the winner of the Gordon Brown Lookalike contest. He's very pleased at... and commemorative plates. Yes, it's the new royal wedding for next year to cope with the economic straits, the terrible climate out there. It takes all our mind off it by saying, look, she looks like Diana. Look at her, look at her. And that's what we're all going to do. We're just going to look at her and ignore everything else that's happening in the world. Just look at her.
I don't agree that it's going to cheer the country up. No, there's, like, public spending cuts, job losses...
Yeah, but look at her. She's like a shiny brooch.
But just in case unemployed life wasn't difficult enough, there's going to be 6 months of the TV being shite.
Is the correct answer.
He's going to be wearing a special waistcoat which is made out of the tongues of the poor. And the stag nights, again a royal custom, he's got to have sex with a stag.
It must be pretty surreal being Prince Harry and William on a stag night, not just you and your mates stuffing pictures of your gran into a lap dancer's bra.
Well, we've all done that, haven't we? The prenuptial agreement's going to be difficult, because she has to agree that in the event of divorce, he keeps Cornwall.
I like that she's a commoner as well, because she's only upper middle class. What is it they said? She's going to make the royal family more accessible to the public? Yes. I think it sets a challenge for Prince Harry to go and find himself a proper scumbag. I would take more of an interest in the monarchy if Prince Harry was getting married to a 19-year-old beauty therapist from Warrington. Get a fake tan done for the wedding and...
where did William propose?
Halfway up Mount Kenya, which is not a euphemism, that was exactly where they were.
Yes, the location was described as beautiful and remote. Coincidentally, how Diana and Charles looked on their engagement. What does Wills like about Kate so much?
That she's willing to marry him, which is always... an extremely good start, particularly if you're marrying into the royal family. It's much more important than just a marriage. It's going to revive the British economy. If you make plates or tea towels or mugs, this is going to be a very big year for you.
He says, she's got plenty of funny habits, which I tease her about. Ha, she passes the port to the right. Is
that a snob joke from an old Etonian?
Well, you be the judge. I couldn't possibly comment. Whose picture was Kate Middleton rumoured to have on her bedroom wall as a student?
It was meant to be a picture of Prince William. This was the one fact that the newspapers had established, which, of course, turned out not to be true. She didn't have a picture of him on the wall.
No, it was you, Ian. a big private eye fan. No, it was the Levi advert, wasn't it? That's what she now claims.
She told reporters...
What do you mean now claims? Honestly.
Well, I don't know whether she's right or they're right or what.
Well, you have no position.
I haven't been in her bedroom.
He wouldn't be looking at the wall if he were.
Yeah. She did, in fact, tell reporters, I had the Levi's guy.
Yeah.
Still doesn't answer whose picture she had on her bedroom wall, but... what are Will and Kate's nicknames for each other?
Her nickname for him is Big Willie, which is not the worst nickname in the world to have.
It is if you're a woman.
She's to be known as Catherine as well, when they're married. Princess Katie sounds like something you'd buy in the early learning centre, doesn't it?
And there's a long history of Queen Catherine in this country.
Henry VIII had a couple, didn't he?
Yeah. One of them divorced.
Yeah.
One of them executed, but, you know, the other one lived, so that's not bad. 1 out of 3.
Yeah, it's all right.
He calls her Babykins. She calls him, as you said, Big Willie. Which is ironic, because he's got a tiny penis. What was Kate's nickname amongst royal courtiers?
She was supposedly known as Waity Katie, because she had to wait for a very long time.
I know a 19-year-old beauty therapist from Warrington called Waity Katie. Because she's got a slow metabolism.
Not to be confused with Weighty Fergie. No. She's another redhead, it's fair game.
But it's brilliant that we've got the royal wedding, because we've got the Olympics, and we were up against the other countries around the world for the royal wedding. We beat Sweden and Tonga for the... It's brilliant. And, of course, there's some doubt about the World Cup now.
It's not in the same year, though, is it, the football?
No, but next year it's going to be the royal wedding, then the Olympics the year after that, and then the football comes a couple of years after that.
I can't wait.
Which one are you looking forward to most?
Oh,
Ian?
the football, Clive.
Yes. What do you think of England's chances if it were to be played in England? Do you think it'd be a good chance?
I think we've got a terrific chance.
Yeah. Who are the new young players you think have been coming through?
That one with the...
Yes.
With the super injunction, he's awfully good.
Well, that's narrowing down to 8 of them now.
I suddenly feel like I'm in the Muppets.
You could be that Swedish chef, couldn't you?
Thank you. Kate's mum, there's more nicknames. Kate's mum had a nickname.
The mother was an air hostess. So apparently the very snobbish friends who didn't approve called her a trolley dolly, and when she appeared they said, "Doors to manual." You laughed. But, I mean, she isn't exactly a commoner. I mean, she went to Marlborough, which is quite a famous public school, and then St Andrews, which is probably the most exclusive of those Scottish universities that you go to read history of art. So,
Pick out the sneer in that.
Did you see Kate's parents being interviewed?
Not recently, no.
They were hardly that common, though. It'd be better if the guy just looked at the camera, or Dad, and just said, "Ka-ching."
When they first met, what grievous offence did Kate's mother commit that made the royals concerned about the match?
Oh, did she go on a bloodthirsty spree with a machine gun?
There was some story about... They said she didn't know how to use the fish knife.
Exactly. It's nonsense.
I can't really believe that's true.
Apparently she said pardon and toilet instead
That's what I was
of
gonna
what
say.
and lavatory. Which is...
She
What
calls
was
the
the
toilet
sentence?
the toilet.
Pardon, is that something in the toilet I can hear? Your Majesty.
How did the cabinet respond to the news?
By banging the table, like that.
I think they did it like that. And this is a bit common.
Imagine if the desk wasn't there. So what's the next question?
What was Davina McCall's Twitter response?
I don't know why you ask that. The idea that anybody is interested in what Davina McCall says on Twitter.
It's really...
It's just extraordinary. Oh, that's a bit cool.
Sure, I like Davina, but I agree with you. I'm going to move on.
No, let's hear. We might as well hear it. That's why we've had a big
You've
row
raised
about it. Because it might be really funny and really
And then I'll
relevant
feel
and really quite witty.
And if it isn't?
Then Ian would have been right.
Let's try.
Yeah.
OK. Jury's out.
Yep.
Yay! Who's organising his stag do?
Is it the Archbishop of Canterbury?
So are you saying Prince Harry is not organising the stag?
Prince Harry is organising.
Oh, well.
And where are they going? We don't know any of this, do we? No. Have a guess.
No, well, I mean, this is the trouble with rolling news. Instead of covering lots of events, it covers one event forever. So for the next 6 months, there's going to be one story, and most of it just won't be true. Because you say, yeah, the stag night, I would imagine they're going to hold it in Munich, and they're going to dress up as Nazi officers. Oh, no, I've just heard that's wrong. Grayson Perry's organising the stag night. They're dressing up as Alice in Wonderland, all of them.
He's right, all these statistics, they say 1 billion people will watch the ceremony, they say. Most of them will be around my house, but 1 billion people. It's just ludicrous. It's made-up stuff.
The Sun said 3.5 billion, which I think is half the population of the Earth, are going to be watching. That's on BBC. On ITV, it'll be Daybreak or something, so...
You can put bets on it. You see, like, the bookies are taking bets on which month the wedding will be.
Yeah.
I think the only people that are going to know that first are the royal family, so that's how you finance it.
Brilliant.
No.
Yeah.
Send Fergie out to put £1 million on May at 12 to 1, and then you've got £13 million to spend on the wedding. No.
Yeah.
Do you know, I
Prince
think
William's wedding, financed by William Hill. Sorted.
The answer actually was, just reeling us back to the question,
Yes.
a pub in Gloucestershire or Botswana?
I've forgotten what the question was, but I'm intrigued by the answer.
What was Harry's response to the engagement? It means I can
He
get
fell
a
into
sister.
a deep coma. The sheer tedium of the subject. He said, even as a member of the royal family, I've had it up to here, he said. Or was it up to there? I can't remember.
You wear one Nazi uniform for the rest of your life.
It was a text. They sent him a text saying, "Congratulations, Big Willie. Best wishes, Dirty Harry."
He said, I thought rather sweetly, it means I can get a sister, which I have always wanted. Oh. Lovely, tender, sensitive, red-haired Harry. What did Charles and Camilla have to say about it all?
She said it's real wicked, innit? And Prince Charles says... So any question on any emotional level, he could be very grumpy, as he always does. It's a shame, because he was sent to a boarding school when he was 5. And she's sort of getting down with the kids, innit?
Yes, she's part of the Windsor Massive.
Exactly, yeah. Although she has lost weight recently.
You're both right. We can have a little look at it now.
So maybe we just ask your reaction to the wedding, please, sir?
Obviously thrilled, thank you very much.
It's the most brilliant news, and I'm just so happy for both of them. They are so happy, and it's wicked.
You've cut it before the innit.
Yo, enough respect to the prince's hoe. What part of the royal wedding will cost £80 million?
I'm willing to give you £80 million if we can move on to the next subject.
£80 million for which bit of the royal
Yeah, which bit of the
Is
wedding?
it the buttonholes? Because they are often quite expensive if you get the wrong time.
Is it the flowers?
Well, that's much the same thing, really, isn't it?
No, all of it, including the
including the flowers. So we're expanding our answer to include all the flowers.
It's security, is the answer, according to the Express.
Wow.
The day is likely to attract an assortment of nutters. Or, as we call them, the groom's family. BBC Breakfast went up to Sandringham, actually, to
Did
sound
they?
out
They were really quite obsessed with it then.
They were... I don't know where you got that impression.
No.
Well, they went up to Sandringham to capture the joy of the nation.
Oh, yeah.
Look here.
It won't change my world, so... But all the best to them. But no, I'm not particularly excited.
Oh, great. Is that another bank holiday?
You excited about the royal wedding?
Absolutely not. No.
To be honest, I'm not sure he'd be very excited by any news, would he?
In fact, all the papers went a bit engagement doolally across the board. Who was particularly excited about the prospect of a royal wedding, apart from Paul, of course?
The Exchange and Mart. They took the adverts off the front page for the first time in their history.
Well, The Sun had a full-colour photo of the happy couple. The Daily Mirror had a full-colour photo of the happy couple. The Star had a full-colour photo of the happy couple, whilst The Independent went with ghost estates and broken lives, the human cost of the Irish crash.
They know how to sell papers.
That's right, William and Kate have already been together for 8 years, one of the longest-lasting royal relationships since records began. BBC News Online observed William will marry in the year which would have marked the 30th anniversary of his parents' wedding and the 37th anniversary of his father's affair with Camilla. Ian and Clive, here's yours.
It's not the royal wedding, then. You see, people happy, it's the wedding. He's thrilled. Look, it's the wedding. Hey, look at them, the whole country. They can't contain themselves. He's happy. It's the wedding.
Nothing to do with the wedding, Ian. Stop talking about
no, she's hoping the wedding goes well. Oh, she hasn't had enough chocolate. It's a wedding. It'll be all right. And there's the bridegroom.
This is a new plan that the government has. We're going to have statistics kept on how happy we are, not just whether we've got a job or not, or how much income we have.
They've got some statistician who's going to come up with the questions, especially set questions. Question 1, are you happy? Question 2, if you're not, shut up. Stop whinging.
I did a thing on a television programme about happiness, and an Oxford University professor had set up a thing to how to measure happiness, and he fed into the computer, you know, what would make happy? Well, a bit of intellectual things, a bit of physical activity, getting into contact with the opposite sex, socialising with other people, and it came out that the thing to make you happiest was Scottish country dancing. And then his colleagues then said, but what's your hobby? And he said, oh, it's Scottish country dancing. But what about the Irish money there that was shown at the end, Irish disaster money? What's that to do with happiness?
Ireland's about to go bust. I don't know when, probably by the time this goes out, it will have. I mean, a lot of people are saying, you know, Ireland's gone bust, doesn't affect us. But we've lent a vast amount of money to Ireland, particularly my stupid bank.
You see, the clue's in the name.
Yeah.
Taking this very personally, and they didn't do it to spite you. Your bank. Well,
you don't know my bank. But and the government, not just the banks, but our government has got to pay about £7 billion to bail out Ireland.
Yes.
And that's the total of all the cuts that we've got this year. So we're going to save all this money and then give it to Ireland.
Well...
Does that make you happy?
Is there a flaw there somewhere? I don't know.
They're refusing the money, aren't they? They're refusing to take the money, the Irish, to turn down a £70 billion...
Yeah, you wait till the repeat.
Package. I think it's great how they're just like a drunk guy that's had a good time, that's at the end of the party and they're just refusing anybody trying to help them up. But I'm fine, honestly, I'm fine. I don't need to help, I'm fine.
David Cameron said, happiness is an important aim of government. There is more to life than money, said the multimillionaire.
I think if he wants to measure how happy we are, he should travel the country without any security guards.
How are our happiness levels going to be assessed?
Specially trained meerkats will be sent around the country, peering through people's letterboxes.
We're going to shout if you're happy and you know it, and if you can't...
By means of a questionnaire to be drawn up by the Office for National Statistics, and the results will be published...
Oh, they can be right bastards. The National Office of Statistics, 47% of them are real idiots.
And the other 83 are just incompetent.
Yeah.
It's a very un-British idea that everyone should be happy. Everyone should just sort of groan a bit and then bumble through. The idea that everyone goes around being happy, well...
One of Dave's
Name one good thing, Ian, that you like. One good thing that you like.
That I actually like. There was a really good programme on the other night called The History of the National Grid.
One of Dave's new friends won't have a very high happiness level this week, though. Who might that be?
The photographer.
Thank you.
Andrew Parsons.
He's been given the boot after the flat Downing Street has been taken recently over his appointment, and his video producer, apparently she's gone too. Everyone's very sad. But according to the BBC website, they were both hired on short-term contracts. They just hadn't realised quite how short-term they'd be. Anything suspicious about the timing? You were just...
Yes, I think it was 20 minutes before the wedding bells pealed across the nation and bluebirds turned to each other in the trees and shrugged with a happy smile on their beaks. About 20 minutes before that, they let it out the news.
Is the correct answer. Yeah. David Cameron has reversed his decision to employ a personal photographer and filmmaker at the taxpayers' expense. They've now lost their Downing Street passes and have been told to return to their offices in Millbank, where it is at least a little easier to get into. You just climb in through the broken window. Also, this week, we discovered that legal aid is to be cut back.
Yes.
An estimated 500,000 cases a year will no longer be funded. Apparently, anyone know how much a year legal aid currently costs each taxpayer?
These poor lawyers are going to be thrown on the scrap. It's like the miners in the 80s. Now there's all villages of barristers and solicitors in Hampstead and the Highgate, and nothing to... I hope we're all going to march on...
38 quid a year is what it is. But to put it in context, the royal family only costs us 62p a year, apparently, if that's of any interest to anyone.
It's when they come around begging for the money, don't they?
You should make a 62 pence coin you can just give every year.
Yeah, exactly.
Justice Secretary Ken Clarke says he aims to discourage people from resorting to lawyers.
Excellent.
Always good advice, eh, Clive? But no one else was free tonight. So Ireland, then, or as the Sun called it on Tuesday, Ireland. Anyone remember how The Independent described the Irish economy in 2004?
Yes, I do. I've written on a tea towel at home.
They said it has been transformed from a glum financial basket case to a vibrant country. And back again. And what did George Osborne say on a trip to Dublin in 2006?
He said we've got a lot to learn.
That's along the right lines, Ian. He says Ireland stands as a shining example of the art of the possible in long-term economic policy making, and that is why I am in Dublin, to listen and to learn. Bit worrying. Commenting on the dire state of Ireland's economy, one Irish businesswoman said, "It's awful. It's like waiting for a bomb to explode." Except this time, the coded warning came in a phone call from the IMF. Not to be confused with the real IMF or the continuity IMF. Who announced that he'll be heading south this week?
Jerry Adams. Yeah, Jerry
I was
Adams.
going to say the swallow in my garden, but that's not...
How did the swallow react to the impending news of the joyful reunion between two people?
Well, he tweeted about it, so...
Cool, absolutely right, Jerry Adams. He's going to...
That was awfully good.
Sorry. Jerry Adams, he's going to stand
Do you
for
do any
election.
other impressions at all?
No.
I bet you do. You thought about it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I bet one of them was Basil Brush.
I'm tempted.
I know, I can see it. I can see it.
Jerry Adams is the answer. He's going to stand for election to the Irish Parliament. So he won't be able to not attend our Parliament anymore. Adams is one of 5 Sinn Féin MPs who have claimed £500,000 of taxpayers' money in second home allowances. Still, not the first time Jerry Adams has been accused of making a bomb.
Interesting. When you stray away from royal weddings and into actual satire, I hate it.
It's confusing.
No, they're just worried that their faces are going to be shown laughing.
Meanwhile, who turned down an invitation to appear on the Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special this week? Yes.
I don't know how you knew, but it was me. It was Vince Cable and Peter Mandelson. That there were plans to have a big political dance-off. Get the whole sort of argument about the economy sorted by Vince and Peter doing the rumba.
Yeah.
Together. Oh, yes, we don't want any professionals involved. It's like politics. That would ruin it.
You're absolutely right. Peter Mandelson, despite having said previously that he would love to be asked, said no. Fickle. But never mind, Vince Cable has said he's interested. That's Vince Cable, the Secretary of State for Business. Still, it's not like we're in the middle of a recession or anything. So to round 2, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Yes, Ian and Clive.
I know what it is. This is this guy who he noticed he'd put on weight because he saw his photograph on Google Earth. And inspired by that, he's lost weight, and he's gone and bought those special pair of trousers you buy when you lose weight. Double the size you were. So there it is. Unless it's me, I'm not sure. But,
This is the news that a Bristolian was shocked into losing 1/3 of his body weight after seeing his giant belly on Google Street View, as you say. We can have a look at the picture in question. There he is.
Pretty much go close up to the guy. I thought they meant they seen it from like a satellite or something.
Standing next to the Great Wall of China.
According to the Telegraph, he couldn't walk and talk at the same time.
Was he sitting down when he said it?
This story led others to re-evaluate their lives too. What did Brett McBain from Crete end up doing because of Street View?
Parting his hair a different way. Stop seeing the dog next door on a Friday night.
According to Brett...
Yes?
I saw my house on Street View. I knew I had some DIY to do and just couldn't remember exactly what it was. A half-finished paint job on the fence. Thanks, Google. Google also got themselves into trouble over information and passwords downloaded by Google streetcars from residents' unsecured Wi-Fis. If anyone from Google is watching this and has illegally stolen my passwords, and would you mind letting me know what they are, please? Nicaraguan troops recently moved into neighbouring Costa Rica after Google Maps mistakenly redrew the border. What sort of idiot would base an invasion of another country on information they found on the internet? Fingers on buzzers, please, teams. Yes, Ian and Clive.
I'm not sure that photo's real.
Is it the Bee Gees?
These are people who've been released this week. These are happy stories.
She's Aung San Suu Kyi, who's the Burmese opposition leader, who's been in prison for 15 years, and she's just been let out of house arrest.
House arrest, yeah.
After a non-violent protest, which seems to have worked, which is very exciting and which is terribly good news.
Is it Paul and Rachel? These, they were pottering around in their boat. They were taken by Somali pirates, and they've been released. Somebody must have paid their ransom.
Originally, they asked for ransom and nothing was happening, so they were put on eBay. It'll be at home in time for the royal wedding, and that, for me, is the most important aspect of the whole story.
One of the reasons they're released is that the pirates were getting bored, because they've held them for ages, and it's not cost-efficient. And the intermediary was a Somalian taxi driver based in London.
So no wonder they kept waiting. They kept saying, yeah, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. It took 3 months.
It has been a good week for captives. Aung San Suu Kyi was released after spending 15 of the last 21 years under house arrest. What did she say when she emerged?
Look at the state of the garden.
Yeah.
She said, I believe in human rights. I want to work with all democratic forces in Burma. Well, bless her, she doesn't get out much.
That's the thing about house arrest, it would be all right, wouldn't it? She's won the respect of millions and she'll probably get a top score on Guitar Hero.
Who first hinted that she might be released?
Is it somebody we've ever heard of?
No.
No. That narrows it down. I can forget all the people I actually know.
Is it a Burmese person?
Mm-hmm. His name's Oo. Tin Oo.
So when you say Oo told us first that she was going to be released, you were just stating a fact.
Yeah.
We've cornered the market in Burmese puns here. That's great. Fantastic news.
No, that's right. To coincide with the release, there was a special gathering of Nobel Peace Prize winners. What did the Dalai Lama say to journalists?
I'm up for it. I'm really up for it.
He said,
yeah,
the past is past. We must use the spirit. Using force is outdated. He added, these aren't the droids you are looking for. You may go about your business. This is the joyous news of 2 long-awaited releases. Aung San Suu Kyi had been held under house arrest for more than 15 years. According to the Telegraph, her biggest shock on gaining her freedom was using a mobile phone. Just wait till she gets the bill. Her release comes shortly after Burmese elections, in which the hated military junta claimed victory over its 2 democratic rivals. Honestly, what kind of country would allow so much power to go to the 3rd most popular party? This week also saw the release of the Chandlers, a couple from Tunbridge Wells who were held captive by Somali pirates for over a year. According to the Daily Mail, the London cabbie who negotiated the Chandlers' freedom divides his time between Somalia and Leytonstone. So he spends half his time in a lawless, poverty-stricken wasteland.
Oh, keep going.
And the other half...
Keep right up.
I'm getting too rich, and the other half... According to Max Clifford, the couple could make £1 million from TV interviews. Adding a successful book could double or triple that. With a movie, you could go up to 5 million, even 10 million. Then they really will be worth kidnapping. Fingers on buzzers, please, teams.
Old folk traditions. That must be an old folk tradition.
Cultural treasures.
Cultural treasures, like pig stretching in Andover.
I'll tell you what it is. It's this year's hopefuls vying for a place on UNESCO's list of intangible cultural treasures. The French are in with a good chance. Which of their traditions are they hoping to get on the list?
Budgie teasing. Budgie teasing in Provence. You live in Provence? Budgie.
One of their traditions is art de la table.
Oh, just eating, just cooking and all that kind of stuff.
What is this cultural heritage that's going on here?
What you want to know about the picture? This is a 648-year-old tradition in Turkey.
Is this wrestling? You oil yourself before you wrestle.
Very good.
Doesn't that make wrestling quite difficult? Because then it's like trying to sort of squeeze a sardine, isn't it? It's all just... If they're both oiled up, you wouldn't be able to get a grip.
And why is he having it all poured down his trousers? Because that you don't grip each other.
When you're wrestling, you just grab what you can get hold of.
Well, that's more like Turkish delight, not Turkish wrestling.
It's Turkey's annual oil wrestling festival. According to promoters, it's to foster dialogue and social harmony. That ought to do it. Can anyone tell me what's going on here?
Is that another folk tradition?
This is queuing for the loo at the royal wedding.
Yes, this is...
a series of rapid earthquakes that hit Cholton-cum-Hardy in 1932.
It's hopping. This is Luxembourg's submission to the UNESCO list of intangible cultural treasures.
Cultural treasure, hopping. Luxembourg, hopping. I can't compute this.
Hopping. They haven't got a leg to stand on, have they? That's just ridiculous.
A centuries-old religious ritual where thousands of dancers linked by a chain of handkerchiefs perform a hopping procession through the streets. They say there's nothing to do in Luxembourg. Croatia have a gingerbread, apparently, which I think is tangible rather than intangible.
It's not tangible, it's edible.
You can touch it and then eat it.
Well, I'm not going to eat it once you've touched it.
Croatian throat singing.
Yes.
We can have a little listen if you'd like.
Yeah, I bet it's lovely.
It's good to see Take That back together again, isn't it?
These are the latest applicants for UNESCO's list of intangible cultural treasures.
Yes.
One candidate for inclusion is French cuisine, which boasts aperitif, amuse-bouche, hors d'oeuvre, entree, regional cheeses, mouth-watering desserts, and bits of horse. UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage Scheme has been roundly dismissed in this country as a load of foreign nonsense, a traditional British attitude which has now been added to UNESCO's list. The time now for the odd one out round. The four are the Space Shuttle Discovery, Elton John's marriage to Renata Blowell, Graham Parker's attempt to solve the Rubik's Cube, and Graham Barker's belly button fluff collection.
It's just about possible to work out why somebody would collect belly button fluff. You can just about do the Rubik's Cubes if you think about it long enough. It's just about possible to imagine how these things get in the air, but nobody can imagine why Elton John married Renata all those years ago. So they are the odd ones out.
Is it things that people give up doing after a certain amount of time?
Yes, in so many words, yeah.
The flight lasted 3 weeks, the marriage lasted 3 weeks. He spent 3 weeks trying to do that.
You're mighty close. They've all been going for 26 years, apart from Elton John's marriage to Renata Blowell, which started 26 years ago but ended 4 years later.
But the odd one out was Elton John and his lovely bride.
Yes, you're right.
Which is what I said. So,
Yeah, in so many words.
well, in those words I said that.
So, in that many words. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Shortly afterwards, Elton John announced that he was gay, of course. He came out as bisexual in 1976.
OK.
Telling Rolling Stone magazine, people should be very free with sex, but they should draw the line at goats. They were uptight in the 70s, weren't they?
Yeah. Depends on your goat.
Space Shuttle Discovery was first flown in 1984. The Space Shuttle Discovery will be retired later this year. Australian librarian Graham Barker made headlines for his collection of belly button fluff amassed over 26 years. Let's have a look at Graham's collection.
Is he married?
How does Barker describe his habit?
Sad.
He said, I wouldn't call it an addiction, because it's not something I feel any need to do. If my belly stopped producing lint tomorrow, I might feel surprised, but not disappointed. He's got the right attitude to life, Graham, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's also collected stamps, bakery bags and McDonald's tray liners. He must have a massive belly button. Graham Parker finally solved the Rubik's Cube after 26 years of trying. His wife, Jean, what did she have to say about it?
I don't exist, she said.
So, the answer is that they have all been going for 26 years, apart from Elton John's marriage to Renata Blauel. In its 26-year career, the Space Shuttle Discovery has successfully docked with the International Space Station 11 times. Nobody actually knows how many dockings Elton and Renata managed.
This seems a very odd attack on Elton John after all this time.
I agree. It's a cruel business comedy. The Discovery recently blasted off on one of its last missions to the International Space Station, where, according to the Daily Mail, the astronauts are due to meet up with cosmonauts, launched aboard a rocket from Kazakhstan. That's provided the donkey in the engine room doesn't actually reach the carrot. Graham Barker's belly button fluff was enough to win Australia's Got Talent, narrowly beating a woman who can fart waltzing Matilda.
Did she waltz farting, Matilda?
According to the Daily Mail, Graham has now sold 3 of his jars of belly button fluff to a museum for an undisclosed sum.
Nothing.
Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Concrete Canoe, sister publication of Chocolate Teapot magazine. And we start with High Velocity Concrete what?
Condom.
Hurts.
Can seriously injure people. Thank you very much. In a recent article on how to give a concrete canoe presentation, the author's top tip is to use humour. Or, as they put it, the judges will greatly appreciate the periodic injection of endorphins in their systems as they chuckle on occasion. Gets me every time, though, isn't it? Next, what can sniff out food?
Noses.
Drunken women.
Is it Eamon Holmes?
We can't say that.
No,
We're not allowed to
that's it.
mention any reference between Eamon Holmes and food.
No,
Not
if
allowed
you
to
say
do
a joke about him and eating, he comes down on you like a ton of bricks.
He does.
So,
It's fat people.
The answer is fat people.
There's a survey that found out that fat people know where food is. They can smell it much more than thin people. Partly because it's in their hand.
This is research that has discovered that the heavier someone is, the more sensitive they are to the smell of food. But oddly enough, not salad. Next, the faces of the team from Illinois fell when they saw the opposing team's craft because what?
It had specially flanged concrete to cut down on wind resistance.
It actually looked like a canoe. Concrete Canoe is a magazine designed for civil engineering students, but is careful to appeal to the general reader as well. For example, in this recent issue, the editor makes this light-hearted observation. And finally, competitor turned up to Concrete Canoe competition with what?
Ill-advised sandals. Michael Bublé in a sack. Is it him in a sack?
It's concrete guitar. This was student Parker Sloan. Here he is with his concrete guitar. It took him 10 minutes to play 3 songs on it and 11 months to smash it against the speakers. So, the final scores are Ian and Clive on 7 and Paul and Kevin on 7.
Ooh, all right.
Before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Say yes, you bitch.
Oh, dear. It's the guy at the back saying you may lick each other's arse.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Clive Anderson, Paul Merton and Kevin Bridges. And I leave you with news that in Oxfordshire, whilst taking an early morning shower, Bill Oddie forgets to close the bathroom curtains. At a military parade in Kashmir, one soldier battles to control a severe attack of cramp. And at the cenotaph, the minute's silence is somewhat marred by an erratic rendition of The Last Post. Good night.
Well, the laughs just keep on coming with QIXL next on BBC Two. Stephen Fry waiting in the wings with All Things Horrible. Then Peter Jones, Mel B and Ollie Mures will be doing their bit on Buzzcocks later at 10 to 11. Or head to BBC Three in 15 minutes for Russell Howard's Good News Extra.